Today we'll talk about the last two types of reactions, single replacement and double replacement. Let's first talk about single replacement reactions. Sometimes you'll hear this one called single displacement instead of single replacement. It means the same thing. In this type of reaction, one element is substituted with another element in a compound. The general equation that we use for this one is A plus BC yields AC plus B. Element A replaces element B in the compound. If A is a metal, then B must also be a metal. And if A is a nonmetal, then B must also be a nonmetal. When a strip of magnesium metal is placed in a solution of copper 2 nitrate, it replaces the copper. The products of the reaction are magnesium nitrate and copper. This can only happen because magnesium is a more active metal than copper. Single replacement reactions only occur when the element that's doing the replacing is more reactive than the element that's being replaced. In order to know which elements can replace which other elements, we use a tool called the activity series. The activity series is a list of elements in decreasing order of reactivity. Since metals replace other metals, while nonmetals replace other nonmetals, they each have a separate activity series. An element can replace any element below it on the activity series. If the element it's trying to replace is higher on the activity series or more reactive than it is, there will be no reaction, or nothing will happen. Here are two examples of single replacement reactions. In the first example, nickel replaces lead because lead is lower than nickel on the activity series. In the second one, nickel cannot replace iron in that compound because iron is higher than nickel on the activity series. Because nickel is less active than iron, there's no reaction, or nothing happens. When predicting the products for a single replacement reaction, first decide whether your single element is a metal or a nonmetal. If it's a metal, it will become the new cation in your product. If it's a nonmetal, it'll become the new anion in your product. Then check the activity series to make sure that the single element is more active than the cation or anion it's trying to replace. If it's not more reactive, it will not replace the other ion, so there will be no reaction. If after you check the activity series, you see that there is a reaction, then use the crisscross method to find the subscripts in the formula of your new product. Then the anion and cation that was replaced becomes an individual element. The fifth and final type of reaction we'll talk about is called double replacement. You'll sometimes hear this referred to as double displacement. In this type of reaction, a cation in a compound trades places with a cation in another compound. For this type of reaction, we use the general equation AB plus CD yields AD plus CB. A and C are cations, and they've swapped anions B and D. Here's an example of a double replacement reaction. Potassium bromide plus silver nitrate yields potassium nitrate plus silver bromide. The cations potassium and silver swap anions bromide and nitrate. To predict the products for a double replacement reaction, first identify the cations and anions in the reactants, and then swap one cation for the other. And finally, don't forget to balance their charges with the new anion using the crisscross method. There are two important types of double replacement reactions: precipitation reactions and neutralization reactions. A precipitation reaction is a double replacement reaction in which one of the products formed is a precipitate or a solid formed from two liquids. For this to happen, the product must be insoluble in water, so when it's produced, it cannot dissolve, but it must remain a solid and it sinks down to the bottom of the container. In this double replacement precipitation reaction, the precipitate is lead 2-iodide. We can tell because there's an S after it in the equation. The S stands for solid. The abbreviations in parentheses after each compound identify the state of matter it's in. G stands for gas, L for liquid, S for solid, and AQ for aqueous or dissolved in water. In order to know if a compound will be a solid, we have to know whether or not it can dissolve in water. To determine whether or not something can dissolve in water, we can use a list of solubility rules. Solubility rules tell you whether compounds with different anions or cations are soluble or not soluble in water. We read the rules from top to bottom until we find a rule that applies to the compound that we need to know about. For example, lead 2-iodide was our precipitate in the last example, so it should be insoluble in water. We can use the solubility rules to tell us this by looking for a rule that applies to lead cations or iodide anions. As we scan from top to bottom of the rules, there's a rule that says that compounds containing I- are soluble with some common exceptions. The exceptions listed are Ag plus 2, Pb plus 2, and Hg plus 2. So iodide compounds are usually soluble, unless they're combined with those cations listed in the exceptions. Since lead plus 2 is our cation, the compound lead 2-iodide falls under those exceptions, and that makes it insoluble, which is why it forms a precipitate or a solid in the reaction. To find out whether a double replacement reaction is a precipitation reaction, use the solubility rules to figure out whether your two products are soluble or insoluble. If they're soluble, write an AQ for aqueous next to their symbol. This means they can dissolve in water. If they're insoluble, write an S for solid next to their symbol. That's your precipitate. Another special type of double replacement reaction is called a neutralization reaction. This is just a double replacement reaction that has an acid and a base as its reactants. We can approach this type of double replacement reaction in the same way as a precipitation reaction, but they do tend to follow a pattern, so it's helpful to be able to recognize a neutralization reaction. It can help you predict the products more easily. The general equation for a neutralization reaction is acid plus base yields salt plus water. This isn't necessarily table salt. There are lots of compounds classified as salts in chemistry. A salt is just an ionic compound formed from the reaction of an acid with a base. Neutralization is an important reaction to know about if you're working with acids or bases, which can be dangerous if they come in contact with your skin. One way to deal with an acid spill is to neutralize the solution by reacting it with the base. Since the chemical reaction produces new substances, salt and water, the solution no longer has the corrosive properties of an acid after it's been neutralized. Before we can identify a neutralization reaction, you have to know how to recognize an acid and a base when you see them. While we'll learn more about acids and bases later in the year, for now, it's enough that you know all compounds with a hydrogen cation, or compounds starting with H, are acids, and all compounds with a hydroxide anion, or ending with OH, are bases. In this example of a neutralization reaction, the acid is HBr, and the base is KOH. When they react, they produce water and a salt, which is potassium bromide. It's easier to see that this is a double replacement reaction if we write water as HOH instead of H2O. The anion OH- gets paired with the cation H+ to make water. If you notice that you have an acid and a base as reactants, it can save you a little time because you know one of the products of your neutralization reaction will be water. The other one will be a salt made with the ions that are left over. But just like other double replacement reactions, be sure to use the crisscross method to write the new subscripts for your salt product. Now you know about all 5 reaction types and 2 specific types of double replacement reactions, precipitation and neutralization. Thanks for listening.